Okay, we're going to do Johnson Manufacturing, and this is a nice problem because it it's got multiple jobs in it, and you get a lot of exercise on using these accounts. And they tell us that there's a predetermined cost driver rate based on machine hours to allocate overhead. And the following information is for the month of March, and they tell us that jobs 1 and 2 were completed, and job 1 was sold. Budgeted overhead for the year is $360,000. So let's do our overhead rate. It's a predetermined overhead rate is $360,000 divided by a total of 60,000 machine hours, which they give us. So that's going to be $6 per machine hour. Okay. Direct labor is $15 an hour, and actual direct labor hours used were, and then they give us all the amounts, so we're going to have to calculate how much our direct labor is based on the number of hours. And then they also give us actual machine hours used, and that'll tell us how much overhead is allocated. So let's put in the numbers that they gave us. They gave us beginning balances for raw materials, had 11,000. 11,000. Finished goods had 120. These are all beginning balances. And purchases of raw materials, they tell us that was 115. And then materials requisitioned for production. For job 1, we've got 50,000 came out of raw materials and went to job 1. And 27.5 came out and went to job 2. And for job 3, 30,500 came out and went to job 3. So this is our direct material for each job. And then they gave us the number of labor hours. They told us that the rate was $15 per hour. So for labor, we've got 500 hours. 500 hours at $15 an hour, or 7,500 for direct labor. And for job 2, it's 1,000 hours at 15. It's 15,000 for direct labor. And for job 3, it's 1,500 hours at 15 is 22,500. Okay. And then overhead, for overhead, they tell us the actual machine hours. We had 1,000 machine hours for job 1 at $6. So for overhead, it's $6,000. Job 2 had 2,000 at 6. That's $12,000. And job 3 had 3,500 at 6, and that's 21,000. Okay, so we've got a total of for job 1, 63.5. And we know we completed this job, so this comes out and goes into finished goods. And in job 2, we've got a total of 54.5. And that comes out of job 2, comes out of work in process. and goes into finished goods. And job 3, right now we have 74,000 in here. Yeah. And it's going to stay right in the work in process. Now we know that we sold job 1 also, so job 1 would come out of finished goods and go into cost of goods sold. Okay? Okay, moving right along. So what else do we know here? There's finished goods. We can figure out some balances here. Yeah, we've got, okay, we got those done. For finished goods, we've got a total of, let's see, 238,000. Check this number. So we got 120 plus 54.5. Yeah, 238 even. And we know that 63.5 came out. So our balance is 238 minus the 63.5. Our balance is 174.5. You know, and once we're done with these, we can answer any questions. 174,500, yeah. Okay, the next thing they give us is some, they tell us that 3,000 came out in indirect materials from direct material. So that's got to come out of here and go into manufacturing overhead. So manufacturing overhead has, what do we have in there? First, the actuals are all here. So the material is 3,000. And then they tell us that we've got supervisor and staff salaries are 30,000. That would also be an overhead. And then depreciation is 5. Depreciation is 5. Utilities, we get half of them. Half is for the office and half for the plant, so that's 4,000. And then repairs and maintenance. Repairs and maintenance are 5,000. Okay, so we've got a total here of 47,000. And the other thing we would do is all the overhead that was applied, we would, for job 1, we would take the 6,000 out that was applied. And for job 2, 12,000. And job 3 was, 21,000. So we had a total of 47,000 in overhead, and we applied 39,000. Okay, so right now we're under applied, and we've got an $8,000 balance. And I'm going to say under applied. Okay. So if we were going to make an adjustment, do they want us to do this? Well, it's under by 8,000. So if we adjust this and put it into, they don't really tell us to do it, but we're going to do it. All right, we're going to take the 8,000, and I'm going to credit manufacturing overhead, and I'm going to debit cost of goods sold by 8,000. So now cost of goods sold has 71.5 in it. Okay, so let's do a real quick financial statement. We've got sales of 120,000. And cost of goods sold is $71,500. So gross profit is $48,500. Then I'm going to subtract our utilities are $4,000. We've got selling expense are $35,000. And finally, this very expensive janitor who gets his own line on the income statement is $10,000. Good for him. So what we end up with is a net loss. Net loss of $500. Okay. So let's answer the questions now. The first question was, what was the predetermined overhead rate? So for number 1, our predetermined overhead rate was $6 per machine hour. The total cost of job 1 when it was done is $63,500. The total overhead costs applied to all jobs during March. Okay, the total part that was applied is right here. That's $39,000. And for 4, compute the total amount of overhead incurred. What was incurred is here. That would be $47,000. And was it over or under applied? The overhead was under applied by $8,000. Okay. What was cost of goods available for sale? Prior to the selling of job 1. Okay, available for sale before we sold job 1. Available before job 1 would be $238,000. Okay, and for number 7, what was net income for the month? After the adjusting journal entry, so that's a little bit tricky. Adjusting journal entry, we've got a net loss of $500. Okay, alrighty.